I studied Forex trading for 3 years because I thought that was going to be my ticket for getting rich and being free and never having to work a meaningless job I didn't want to work ever again. Yeah, I spent 3 years studying Forex. I didn't say I spent those years actually making trades. I said studying. And guess what? Over those 3 years, how much money did you think I made? Zero. And yet I kept studying, thinking that at some point I was going to make money without doing what really mattered, which is taking action. And looking back, I realized why I was studying so much and why I wasn't taking action. It's because I thought that getting rich was just like something you studied and then like there was a study guide for getting rich and then you just kind of got rich. I wasn't thinking about the action part. And why? Because years of schooling taught me that for whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to achieve, you got to study for it and then you get a test on it and then boom, you'll either move on or you'll fail. And so I had that mindset unknowingly for achieving financial success when that's completely the opposite. You don't get financial success by just studying it. Yes, you want to study being aware of like how it works, but you're really gonna like change your life when you take action and then you fail and then you take action again. You're not gonna change your life by just researching. And I wish someone had told me that early on. I wish I had broke out of that student mindset, which I don't want to say that's a bad thing. Let me say this more so. I wish I broke out of the public school mindset that they put onto us, because I mean the schooling system really just wants you to be a worker, to listen to the rules and to listen to your higher ups and just be a passive sheep. But if you're trying to achieve some type of success, you're not going to do it through studying. You got to take action. And if you don't know what action to take, literally think. Think about it. And whatever idea comes to your mind, do it. And if it doesn't work out how you want it to work out, learn from your failure and do it again. That's as simple as it is. I mean, there's literally no study guide out there for success. There's none. There's only you experiencing the highs and lows of you trying to reach whatever peak you're trying to reach. Is there a study guide for driving? There is. You know, you can read an entire textbook on how to drive. But then when you get behind the wheel, you don't know how. Why? Because you don't learn how to drive by learning, like, from a book. You learn how to drive through trying to stay in the line and then failing and trying to not hit a car and failing. And then learning from that. And then learning, okay, well, next time I'll do this differently. And then next time comes around, you do it differently. You have a different outcome. The problem is, we are allowing ourselves to fail because we don't want to take the first step, because we're afraid to take that first step. Why? Because we have been so conditioned to think we need to learn more and figure out something more and get one more thing before we get our feet in the water. And then years pass and nothing changes. So I want to ask you a question and be honest, because every video I make is ultimately designed to help you in some way, shape, or form. Are you studying success like there's going to be a test for you to take? Or are you putting in the reps of action, failure, until you reach your goals, your dreams, the peak of your mountain? Think about it. Because for the longest, I was the former. I mean, I don't have the notebooks anymore, but I literally filled up a notebook on trading notes. I read a whole candlestick note. I actually had a whiteboard, not a whiteboard, but like one of those cardboard posters. And I had this elaborate way of like seeing a candlestick design and then figuring out what it is and then lifting it up and seeing information underneath it. Like, I went into so much detail to study, but never did. So I want you to reflect on your life and ask yourself, what are you doing? And if the answer is you're constantly studying, then I want you today to think about what step can I take, what action can I take so that I can move from studying to making moves, because that's ultimately all that matters. Until you make moves, nothing's going to change. The only reason I figured out the business model that I want to go down and learn about business and finally got clients and got paid is because I took that first step years ago to make a blog called Juggling Wisdom, where I was going to literally juggle and say wise things. And now think about how crazy that is. First of all, I'm trying to make a blog. A blog is primarily, text. So why am I trying to make a blog where I make a video of me juggling and saying wise things? Like, the whole concept was just crap. But that was my first step, because I didn't know what else to do. So I thought, what can I do? And that idea came to my mind. And then guess what? That led me to another idea, because that ultimately failed. I learned my lesson and tried something else. And I said, okay, well, I never really started the blog. I never did anything. Like, I put in the work to get it up, but I didn't do anything. Why not just get on TikTok? So make it easier. I can juggle on TikTok and say wise things. And I did that. And that flopped as well. I said, okay, well, I don't really need a juggle. I don't really care for that. What else can I do? Let me just talk to the camera instead. And so I just talked to the camera on TikTok, and I kept doing those actions, failures, until I got to where I am now, where I know what I'm trying to do. I know the business model I'm running. I know how I'm going to get the success I want, and I'm taking those steps every single day. And now I'm just patient, because now I've got the momentum. All I got to do is just stay the course. There's nothing else. Stay the course. Keep doing what I'm doing, and I'll get there. But mind you, it started from one really crappy idea that I thought of and just acted on it. And that's what's going to change your life too. Think of a crappy idea and then just get started. And that's going to change your life, I promise you. Now, if you need more help, I do have a starter kit. It's the first thing in my description. A starter kit to help you get your life together. You don't need it, but I just want you to know that it's there. So if you want it, it'll be there. It'll help you out. Regardless, stop studying, stop learning. And okay, you can study, you can learn 20% of the time. But for 80% of the time, take action. And that will make the biggest difference in your life. Alright? I'm going to see you for the next video.